right, so we've got the sneak peek for next week's mid-month seasonal Halloween uniforms, and everyone's really excited because last year it was Ghost Rider and Sin, and the year before that it was Black Bolt and Morgan Le Fay, and this is a recent seasonal, but it's probably one of the most well-received seasonal updates because Halloween is such a beloved day of the year. Oh, it's Abomination and Weapon Hex. I see. Halloween has arrived in Marvel Future Fight. Weapon Hex and Abomination don terrifying new costumes to celebrate the spooky holiday. Okay, wow. Let's see what's going on the forums. Agents, two supervillains in their special costumes have showed up this Halloween. So, Weapon Hex wasn't a villain before. I guess she is now. That's cool. Keep in mind, they're both paywall characters to begin with. I mean, you can farm Abomination for free, but otherwise he was only available as a Danger Room character years ago when Danger Room existed as a game mode. And then Weapon Hex, I believe, is just X-Gene subscription. So this is kind of the silver lining of this decision to choose two paywall characters, is that they didn't take any free-to-play characters like Ghost Rider, like Sin, like Black Bolt, etc., 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 and turn them into a paywall character, right? Like they didn't take Storm and turn her into a paywall, or you know, a bunch of other characters. You feel me? You feel me? So that's the silver lining. We've gotten the silver lining out of the way, so prepare yourselves. To the spooky supervillains. Okay, check out the new looks and abilities of these villains who have gained powerful abilities through a dark experiment and exposure to gamma radiation. We will announce more information to the patch details later. So these are going to be the seasonal Halloween uniforms. Here they are, in case you missed it. We have Abomination, Weapon Hex, Abomination, Weapon Hex, Abomination, Weapon Hex. And there we go. We have Tier 3 and a new uniform for Abomination, and Tier 4 and a new uniform for Weapon Hex. Now, that's crazy. We have a lot to talk about. The first thing I want to talk about, because it's the easiest thing to talk about as a whole, is the quality of the sneak peek. I gotta say, I know we had a really cool sneak peek for the zombies update. I know that we had a really cool live stream, so I know that they've been working hard there. I don't mean to be ignorant of the work that they put in, but this type of sneak peek is just a slideshow, right? It's just a slideshow with anime, with anime wipes and transitions. That's it. It's a slideshow. It's a 2016 collage Instagram story. What happened to the absolute cinema that we got a year ago, right? Look at this. Remember this, guys? This is what we got last year for Ghost Rider and Sid. And keep in mind, for those of you wondering, you're like, okay, yeah, but were the sneak peeks good for the regular update that preceded this? And the answer is yes. The answer is yes. The sneak peek that preceded this update for Sin and Ghost Rider was the Doctor Strange one, where they're all standing around the manhole cover or whatever, Dr. Voodoo, Sister Busty, and then Man-Thing comes out, right? Like, look at this. This is a movie. This is literally cinema, right? This is right? This is cinema. So, yeah, look, Ghost Rider comes in. Like, this is amazing. I don't want to watch this whole thing because it's gonna make me sad, but yeah, if you haven't seen this, you should go and watch this. This was peak MFF, right? This was just one of the craziest, most amazing things we've ever seen. Homage to The Dark Knight. Just, hands down, insane quality. Versus my first PowerPoint presentation. And here's the thing. I want to be very clear here. I'm not blaming the people that work on the sneak peeks. I'm not blaming the sneak peek team. because they clearly have a passion for this, and they clearly have a ton of talent for this. So there's no way that it's their fault, because you don't just wake up one day and say, you know what, I'm just gonna dial it in, right? I'm gonna just dial it back and just phone it in at work. I'm just gonna stop trying. You don't just stop trying like that all of a sudden. You either get fired, or you get your job made more difficult by managers who don't understand how to work and who just want to justify their own existence. So they make cuts or changes or detrimental modifications so that they have something to show their bosses, so that their bosses don't fire them. And this is the result, is that everybody loses, right? The sneak peek team loses because they can't do what they're best at, right? It's like telling Wolverine not to fight. And then we, the customers, we lose out because now we have to put up with the slideshow instead of actual, cinema. So it's a little bit disappointing for sure. I don't really want to get into a deeper conversation of where they've been allocating their money lately and kind of like some signs that you can see about different things. But the two things I do want to focus on, which I think are related and related to, not only related to each other, well, obviously they have to be related to each other if they're related in this sense, but they're also related to spending, because particularly weapon hacks. Oh, Abomination looks great. Okay, let's get that out of the way. Abomination looks great. He looks like Bane. If you've ever seen anything from DC, he looks exactly like Bane, which is fine, whatever. I don't think it's a ripoff. Probably somewhere along the line, DC may have ripped off Marvel when they created a character, and Marvel made their character look like Bane, because we have the whole Deathstroke, Deadpool thing as well. But if you look at Abomination right now in game and you compare him to what we're getting, so we're getting that on the left with the gauntlets and the huge Hydra belt and the freaky, Pulp Fiction gimp mask. We're getting all that versus this. So this is a top to bottom renewal for him visually. They changed his skin color, right? They changed everything. Right? Then you look at Weapon Hex, who already has the Transcendence, so that's why she's getting the tier 4, right? So you go and you look at Weapon Hex, and Weapon Hex, as you can see over there, has pale skin. She's got the mask. She's got the belt, and she's got the red and yellow on the thing with the arm tattoos. Let's go take a look at what she looks like now. Oh, look, it's the mask with the yellow and the black. It's the yellow and the red suit. It's the claws with the tattoos and the white belt. So, really, what did they change, right? What did they change? Really? They made her skin like giga pale, and they changed the shape of the yellow piece that's running down her neckline. They changed it slightly. They just like added these two arrows to make it look more like an arrow or a sword pointing down rather than it being flat. That's literally, oh, and they added some like cuts on the side here. They added these like lines. They added these lines here, these yellow lines, and they added the little bumps here coming out. And they may have added some goofy shit over here on the gloves, because that wasn't there yet. But everything else is like identical, basically, right? This is crazy to me. This is crazy. And keep in mind, remember, the female uniform is the paywall one. That's the one that you have to pay real money for. You just have to, all you have to do is pay full price in crystals for Abomination, but you can save up for that. Now, get real, no one's going to be buying Abomination if they haven't yet bought Ghost Rider and maybe even Black Bolt. They're going to obviously prioritize those, but maybe Abomination is going to be good as a support for Hulk, for either for PvE or PvP or both. We don't know, right? But, whatever. I'll be definitely picking up Abomination. I'm going to be picking up Weapon X because I buy every uniform, but holy shit, this is really as lazy as we've seen in a long time, The only other uniform that we've seen that's been lazier than that is the refresh on Vision. That was the only other uniform that I felt was lazier, this one, right? Where it was a refresh of that. However, even then, they gave him this really cool idle animation where he summons a planet and it orbits and shit. So at least they were like, you know what, guys, we realize that this is pretty damn lazy. They also made him stop flying. They applied gravity, right? They realized it was pretty lazy visually. So they're like, you know what, we'll give you something else. I don't know what they're gonna do for Weapon Hex here, guys. I don't know. So for me, it's a little bit of a bad sign to see them going so lazy on one of the seasonal uniforms, while at the same time telling the sneak peek team, you know what, guys, let's just do a slideshow. Let's save some money, and rather than me paying you whatever the 10, 20 hours that it takes for you to do this, we're just gonna pay some intern 2 hours to put together this slideshow. So they save a couple $1,000s. They probably don't save that much money. Let's be realistic. And you gotta wonder why they're doing that. Why they're petty pitching so damn hard. Not really a good sign for the game if they're being that goddamn cheap. And it just gets worse the more you look at it, because then you go back and you're like, okay, well, how detailed were the uniforms last year? And then you're like, holy crap, right? Holy crap. They modeled all brand new weapons. They modeled like a brand new mask for her. And again, they did do that for, right, but this is completely different, right? They gave her a new haircut. They did do that for Abomination. But then, man, like, again, you look at the amount of effort put into last year's. Like, look at the chains glistening with the light occlusion, right? Man, like, look at the bike. They modeled the whole bike, right? And then he gets off the bike. Like, this is sick, dude. This is crazy. This is a year ago. Just 1 year. What happened in 1 year? And that's his last uniform, right? So it's not, again, it's not like they just copied and pasted. This is, they did modify. They had to modify. The head is completely new. The body is different. He's way more bulky now. This feels completely different. And I thought that was their approach, right? Is that when they make uniforms, they have to make them feel different. Look at Black Panther, who basically always looks exactly the same. Even for them, they tried, right? They gave him a weapon. They changed the look. Obviously, it comes from the comics, but still, they have to make it feel and look as different as possible. Whereas this shit here with Weapon Hex, holy crap, bro. If you have, if you're colorblind, if you're like red-green colorblind, you have no idea she got a uniform. Think about that. There are actually players who have mild forms of colorblindness who won't know that a character got a uniform because the shit looks exactly the same. Unless they pick up on these minutia level details of like, oh, they added these little scratches here. They added these little accents. Wow. It's crazy, right? It's like that video where the guy doesn't have the fade going on. He let his hair grow out a little bit, and then he gets a little bit of a fade up here, and he puts a toothpick in his mouth, and he looks like a completely different person. That's what they're trying to do. They're giving Weapon Hex the toothpick, and they're saying, you know, do a little bit of doing like 5-10 minutes of mewing, and we're gonna call that a new uniform. Bro, get the hell out of here with this shit. So yeah, I gotta say, like, I'm disappointed. It's pretty lame. There's a lot of things going on here. The zombies update was good. I don't know why they didn't go with more zombie. Like, they could have just gone with 2 more zombie uniforms for the seasonals. I don't know why they decided to go in another direction. That being said, Abomination looks really cool, and Weapon Hex looks pretty lazy and shitty. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. It's also the fourth female blast mutant, okay, that has become a Paywall character. And you're probably saying to yourself, well, that's not that many. It's not that many, but it's weird that it's that many, if that makes sense, right? It's like, you know, if I had a nickel for every time they made a female blast mutant, a Paywall seasonal, I'd have 4 nickels, which is not a lot of nickels, but it's also a weird amount to have in a game. They did Magic, they did Storm, they did Psylocke, and now they're doing Weapon Hex. That's kind of weird. Who do you think is next? Probably Emma Frost. Well, maybe not. I don't know. If not Emma Frost, then like Jubilee or some shit. Anyways, hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching the video. Smash the like button if you enjoy the content, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.